You didn't decide to pick up your phone just now. Your thumb did. It found the app before you finished the thought. You opened it, you scrolled, and the feed just kept going. No bottom, no edge, no moment where it stops and says, "That's enough, you're done." That's not a missing feature. That's the feature. The endless feed in your hand has a name. It's called infinite scroll, and the designer most associated with it, a man named Aza Raskin, popularized it back in 2006 to make browsing feel smoother. He succeeded. He also says now that he regrets it because of what it did to a billion thumbs like yours. So tonight, let's open it up. Let's look at exactly how the thing in your pocket was built to keep you there. And I'll warn you now, once you see how the hook is set, you can't unsee it. Start with the most uncomfortable idea. You're not weak. When you can't put your phone down, the story you tell yourself is that you lack discipline, that other people are just stronger than you. But that story is wrong, and it's convenient. Convenient for the people who built the app, because somewhere in an office, a team of engineers was paid to make sure you couldn't stop. They built hundreds of versions of that feed. They tested them on millions of people. They measured to the second which version held your attention longest. And then they shipped that one to you. You're not losing a fight against your own willpower. You're losing a fight against 1,000 of the smartest people in the world who get paid only when you lose. And here's the strangest part. The people who built this have admitted out loud on the record exactly why they did it. I'm going to show you the moment one of them said it. But first, you need to see the machine. Because they didn't invent something new. They borrowed it from somewhere you'd recognize instantly. A casino. A former Google design ethicist named Tristan Harris described what you're holding as a slot machine in a billion pockets. And think about the gesture you make 100 times a day. You pull the screen down to refresh. You wait, and something appears or it doesn't. Pull the lever. Wait, maybe a reward. That pull to refresh gesture was invented by a developer named Loren Brichter, who later said, in his own words, "Pull to refresh is addictive." These are not good things, because it was never really a refresh button. It's a lever. And here is the trick at the center of all of it, the one most people get backwards. You'd assume the good feeling comes when you get the reward. The like, the message. It doesn't. The brain's motivation chemical, dopamine, doesn't spike when you get what you want. It spikes a moment before, in the anticipation, while the outcome is still unknown. So it isn't the like that hooks you. It's the half second of loading when there might be a like. That is why the little spinner spins a beat longer than it needs to. You're not waiting for the page. You're being held on purpose in the exact moment your brain craves most. You already know how this ends because you've lived it. It's 11 at night. You're tired. You tell yourself, just a quick check. You pull down. The spinner turns. A little hit in the dark. Something loads, nothing much. You pull again and again. The feed never ends, so there's never a natural place to stop. And then you look up and it's past midnight and you cannot remember a single thing you saw. An hour gone. And the machine got exactly what it was built to take. So why does the maybe have that much power over you? A psychologist named B.F. Skinner answered that 70 years ago. He gave an animal a lever that released food. When the food came every time, the animal pressed calmly, only when hungry. Then he made it random, a reward it could never predict. And the animal started pressing compulsively, again and again, long after it was full, unable to stop. That is the whole secret. Certainty is boring, maybe is irresistible. It is the engine inside every slot machine ever built. And now, it is the engine inside the feed you check before you're even fully awake. And that word, machine, is not an accident either. An anthropologist named Natasha Dow-Schull spent years inside Las Vegas studying how slot machines are designed. Her book is called Addiction by Design, and the title is the whole point. She found that modern casinos don't actually want you to win big and walk away happy. They want something they call time on device. And every choice, no clocks, no windows, no natural stopping point, exists to keep you in what she named the machine zone. Read that list again. No clocks, no windows, no natural stopping point. Now look at your feed. It was built on the same blueprint by people who studied the very same research. And now, the moment I promised you. In a 2017 interview, Sean Parker, the first president of Facebook, admitted what the goal had been from the start. The question they asked themselves, he said, was, how do we consume as much of your time and conscious attention as possible? And the answer was to give you a little dopamine hit every so often. He called it exploiting a vulnerability in human psychology. He said the people building it understood this, and he said they did it anyway. That is not a critic on the outside guessing. That is the man who was in the room. So here is the twist, and I think it's the part that actually matters. The reason all of this works on you is not that something is broken inside you. It's that something is working exactly the way it was built to. That craving for an unpredictable reward is the thing that kept your ancestors alive. The mind that couldn't stop checking the bushes for food was the mind that survived. The app didn't install a weakness in you. It found an ancient strength and aimed it at a glowing screen where it does you no good at all, which is also why willpower on its own usually loses. You cannot out-discipline a system designed by hundreds of people, tested on billions, and retuned every single day to beat exactly the brain you happen to have. But there is one thing you can do that they cannot fully design around. You can see it. So here's what to watch for, starting now. The spinner that takes a beat too long. That pause is for your dopamine, not your data. The pull to refresh, that's the lever. Notice your hand reaching for it before you've even decided to. The red dot, the badge, the little number, that is not information, it is bait, colored the exact shade your eye is least able to ignore. And that feeling of just one more, that is the maybe talking, promising a payout that most of the time simply never comes. None of this makes the hook disappear. But a hook you can see is a hook you can sometimes slip. And that is more than you had a few minutes ago. So the next time you're lying in the dark and your thumb finds the app before you've decided to open it, you'll know exactly what that is. You'll know who taught your thumb the way, and you'll know it was never an accident. It was built. That was always the feature. If this changed how you see your phone, hit subscribe. Next time, I'll show you how slot machines were reverse engineered into the apps in your pocket.